on exactly this point, I want to ask you, like some of the Nauset Indians on the Cape and Narragansett tribes to the southwest, etc. In those days, for example, when some of the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, out on the Cape rather, they at one point talk about having been attacked by some of the Nauset Indians. Um, can you explain maybe why they might have done that? Or were they more territorially minded than other Indian tribes?
No,
Because
but
there are some reports about things like that.
I think that
The wild men.
they had experiences with these people, you know, the Nausets, people that come from East Ham. This is an area where, in the history and the documents that came off that first boat, they talk about how they landed in what they call East Ham
Yeah.
now, and they was grave robbers. They robbed some graves there.
Yeah.
Okay, it was the first documentation of grave robbing in this country. You know, and I think that really offended those people.
Mm.
So anybody that came in one of those boats from then on wasn't well liked
Yeah.
down there. You know, we have we're just today getting the government to turn around and give us a little protection over our grave areas. You know, and it's been a long time coming.
Mm.
You know, 400 years. You know, you can't. Indian grave isn't safe. I mean, people dig it up and say, "Hey, we're thrilled to be able to dig up this Indian grave."
Mm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so
Why is the grave site so important to Indian culture?
well, it's a way, a spiritual way of life, and once a person has been that has gone on his journey, his body, whatever his remains are left here to be part of the earth that's here, and that's what we have a great reverence for in that respect. Is that those remains still being intact, you know, and being part of the earth, and keep that spirit in that area. And when they dig them up and transport them across the world, and for what reason, I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out. You know what people see in the Indian remains. I mean, there seem to be something very special about the Indian remains that they have to have warehouse and thousands of them in museums and archives and so forth. It's just mind-boggling for me to try to understand about European people.
Mm-hmm. How, when the Indians have their special days, harvest rites, or you know, marriage ceremonies, perhaps, or celebrations of one kind or another of sort of the natural year, what would you say, like, the purpose of their rituals? You know, sometimes the sort of stages and the dances that they do that more and more center an individual from the natural world through the ancestors down to the, like, right here and now, and how that's different from perhaps the Western religious
Well, you know,
rites.
for years they've sort of outlawed a form of worship or religion, is what you might call religion, but we don't call it religion. Um, and but we've always continued that in our dancing, and that's how we do our prayers, is through our feet and pressing the Mother Earth. And you know, it's just recently people outside of Indian communities begin to understand what the dancing was about, and so they have all these years said, well, we've done away with the Indian religious rites or whatever. But Congress acted here in 1979 and gave us freedom of religion here in this country. Kind of nice of them, wasn't it? You know.
What year?
1979.
AD?
90. so, so I thought that it was kind of amusing because I was one of the framers of that legislation, and after it passed, I wrote to all the senators and congressmen and asked them what kind of citizen was I now that I've got freedom of religion in this country. Because evidently I couldn't have been a citizen of the United States if I wasn't under the First Amendment of the Constitution, you know. And so now that you give me freedom of religion, what kind of citizen am I? You know, am I a full-fledged citizen like other people who are. I didn't get any response from them. They couldn't write me, but tell me anything about it. I don't think that they really knew the reason for that particular legislature.
Much before that oppression, though, what were the Indians about before they
Well,
came ceremonially speaking?
the Europeans was tribal people, and they was very close. I run into a lot of the old cults and stuff that come from Europe every once in a while, and they're talking about the similarities between us and them, and their worships of the different seasons of the year, the solstices, and all of those kind of things that was very important, and the more I get into the pagan and begin to understand about their connection with the solstice, and I learn how the Christians ripped him off of their times and incorporated into their religion, and still looking down on these pagan people that they took from, and they've created great masterpieces of stories about Jesus being born and Christmas and the manger and all of these kind of things, and they all are very much connected with the pagans way, but it had nothing to do with Jesus. But it's the season of the year, and we celebrate those seasons of the year very strongly because they are the ones that tell us what's coming and what to prepare for and how to get yourself prepared for the next season. I was just listening to an old guy not too long ago talking about since a European has been here, he stole everything from us, even stole the stars from us. He says, we used to know all the stars in the heaven by name, and how each one of them told us the time of the day and the time of the year, and what phase they was going into, and so we always watch the stars, and we love the stars because they always give us a prediction, and we knew what was coming and all of these things. So now we don't even, they've given us these calendars that have got all these numbers on them, and we forgot about the names of the stars up there. We forgot about them. So they actually stole the stars away from us, by giving us these watches and all that stuff. So we don't bother paying attention to the star anymore.
But before, there was a real relation between, say, the journey of the Earth around the sun or through space and the journey of the human spirit in
That's
that
right.
same turning.
Yeah, and in our story of creation, we talk about a lot of the things that are never spoken about out here. And that's because people of today, they look at as man as something great. And we haven't got to that point yet. We say man is nothing but another animal, and he's no greater than a dog or a cat or whatever. Or a bird. What the heck? He's only a spirit, and all of those have spirits also. So the Creator never made anyone more greater than the other, okay? Because they're all part of creation, and they all have a lesson about how they share with other forms of life, and so we don't look at something as greatness, but everybody here looks at man. They've even replaced God, and they've come here with so many gods. Each group brings their own God in, and so it gets very confusing out there where they're coming from. But the thing that's really important is that sharing and knowing the lesson that comes from all of creation. Each phase of creation has a lesson in it, and about sharing and about life and about connection and about leaving in memory, leaving a lesson. And our whole way is about when we leave here, we intend to leave part of ourselves here, and the only way we can leave part of ourselves is we have to be able to share that part, and we have to share ourselves with other forms of life here, so that as long as you had that memory bank in your mind, and you have connected with me, then you've got part of me with you because you have me incorporated up there in that memory bank. And so I've left part of me with you. And it's not a question of good or bad, but you've accepted or you've taken that part and kept hold of it. Okay? And if it's something that I have shared with you that has enhanced your life, then you'll cling on to that memory a little longer because that's going to help you into your own life to go further. But that sharing of oneself is a very important thing. It's the love that is never spoken about. You know, it doesn't have to be physical, but that connection is really important. Is be able to share oneself.